So in this video I like to show you how to create this dynamic door block and a really simple door tag in Autocad. Well, I know that there are some tutorials out there that cover quite the same topic. Anyway, I thought it might be interesting to share this technique that I'm using here. Let's take a quick look at the final result that we're about to create. You can see it is a block that has some grips attached. These grips, you can easily change the width of the door frame according to the width of your wall. You can change the opening width, make it smaller or bigger. Also, I added two flip actions to the block, so you can easily flip it around, something like this, just how you need it. And finally, I added a visibility state to the block that makes it possible to show or to hide the door frame. I will reset this block. This door is connected to this simple door tag, and this door tag is automatically displaying the current opening width. So for example, if I change the opening width to something like 1 meter, and type RE for region in the command line, you can see that it's now displaying the correct opening width of the door. I also added an annotation scale to this door tag, so it will automatically scale itself according to the scale of your drawing. Let's take a quick look at my AutoCAD. I use like out of the box settings. I'm using metric units drawn in meters. I have my annotation scale set to 1 to 50. The door itself is represented by some really simple AutoCAD lines. Here we have an arc. This door leaf is represented by a polyline. I also added these two auxiliary lines that are on a layer that finally won't plot. I just used them to position the door right. The door frame is represented by these two rectangles. I also added a hatch. This is something that is not really necessary, but I tend to do it because I always have problems with the draw order in AutoCAD. And when the hatch is inside the block, I don't have to care about it anymore. To get started, first we have to create a block from the door. So I type block in the command line. I will call this door something like dynamic door. You can see that I have to specify on screen base point checked, press OK, select all the objects, enter, OK again, and for the insertion base point of the block I choose this point right in the middle of the door frame. Open it up in the block editor. First I will add a linear parameter that will represent the width of the door frame. I put it here, select it. I lower the amount of grips to 1 because in this case I only need 1. I also will rename it to something like wall width. Next I will add a stretch action to this parameter. Choose the stretch, select the parameter. As a base point, select this grip and draw a stretch frame. For the objects, I just choose these two rectangles that represent the door frame. Press enter. Let's test it, see if it works. Yes, this looks quite good to me. Close the test block window and we will continue adding another linear parameter to the door. This parameter will represent the opening width of the door. So I put it here, select it. Here I will change its base location from start point to midpoint. And I will also rename it to something like opening width. Next I will add a move action to the parameter. Select the parameter, specify the base point, which is again the left grip. For the objects, just choose the left door frame. Press enter. Next I will add a scale action to the parameter. So choose scale, select the parameter, and for the select objects, just select these two lines that represent the leaf of the door. Press enter, switch to the scale action, change its base type from dependent to independent, and make sure that both its base x and base y value is set to 0. Next I will add another move action to the same parameter. This time I choose the right grip. For the objects I choose the right door frame. Press enter. Let's test it. This looks quite good to me. What you can see is that these two auxiliary lines are not scaling accordingly to the opening width of the door. This is something we have to fix in the next step. So close the test block window, add another scale action to the parameter, and just select these two auxiliary lines. Switch to the scale action, change its base type also to independent, and make sure that again the base x and y is set to 0. Test it again. Now you can see these two lines are scaling accordingly to the opening width of the door. Close it down again. Next I will add a flip parameter to the door. Choose the flip, and for now just put it here in the middle. I will rename this flip state to something like hinge 01. Like this, hinge 01. And next I will add a flip action to the flip parameter. Select all the objects and enter. Let's test it how it works. Looks good to me. Close the test block window and add another flip parameter to the door. This flip parameter I will put right in the middle of the door frame. I press Shift and the right mouse button to use the mid between 2 points snap. And put it somewhere in the middle. I rename the flip state to hinge 02, and I will add another flip action to this flip parameter. Choose that one and select all the objects. Let's test it. You can see it's working quite well, but if you change the width of the door frame, this grip is not moving accordingly to the new size of the door frame. So in this case, it's not working anymore correctly, and you will have to adjust this door manually. We can fix that easily, and I will show you that in the next step. Close the test block window down and add another move action to the wall width parameter. Select it. Choose again the grip as the starting point. And for the select objects, only choose the second flip parameter. Switch to the move action and change its distance multiplier to 0.5. In a sense, what we are doing here is telling Autocad that this grip of the flip should always be in the middle, or should have half the size of the wall width of the door. Let's see if this works. Now you can see this grip is moving accordingly to the door frame width of the door, and it's staying always in the middle of the door frame, which makes it easier to flip it. Close the test block window. Well, I think that we're mainly done with the base block. What I will add now is a visibility parameter. I will put it probably here. Bring it up a little bit. I will rename it to frame visibility. Select it, right click, and open up the visibility states menu. The visibility state 0 I will rename to with door frame. I will add a new visibility state that leaves everything unchanged, but will have another name. So I will change the name to without door frame. Press OK. So the only thing we have to do now is to hide the objects we don't want to see. So in this case, carefully choose the objects that represent the door frame. And this parameter that is adjusting the size of the frame. Choose object visibility, hide for current state. Close the block editor, save the changes, and let's see if it works. Choose without door frame. And again, we have the same flexibility that we had before. I reset it. Next we will create this simple door frame. So first I will draw some lines in Autocad. Put them to the right layer. That is my door tag layer. Create a rectangle for the door number. Probably something like this. I put that door to the back and use the match property tool to switch the rectangle to the right layer. This looks quite good to me. Next I will define 3 simple attributes. So I enter addDef in the command line. I uncheck the lock position because probably I want to move them around. I will call this one width. For the prompt I enter door width. The default setting I leave empty for now. Justification I put to bottom left. The text style is set to text 1.5, which in my case is okay and will represent the correct size of the text. Press OK and put the attribute inside the drawing. Use again the match property tool to put it on the correct layer and rotate it 90 degrees. I will change the justification from bottom left to bottom right. And will position it something like here. We'll change this one later. Let's make a copy of it. Call that one height. Here I enter door height. I change the justification to top right. And position it probably here. So the only one that is missing now is the attribute that represents the door number. So I make another copy. And one copy is enough. Rotate it 90 degrees. Rename it to something like DN for door number. Door number. I put the justification to bottom left in this case. Let's position it probably here. And create a block. So I type again block in the command line. I call this one door tag 005. Press OK. Select all the objects. Deselect the door block. Enter. OK. And for the insertion base point, I select this intersection point here in the middle. For the door number, I enter something like EG for the ground floor, 01 for my room number, and 01 for the number of the door. I mean, it depends how you do it. For the door height, I enter 210, so a little bit more than 2 meters. And in the field with the door width, I press the right mouse button and insert a field. I choose the object category and switch to formula. In the formula window, I insert another field in the formula field. So right click, insert field. This time I choose again object, object, and select my door block. What I'm interested in is the opening width, so I choose this one and press OK. As you can see, it's now displaying me the opening width of the door in meters. In this case, I would like to see it in centimeters, because for the height I also used a value in centimeters. To do this, I simply multiply it with 100, evaluate it, and change the precision to 0. Press OK and OK again. So this looks quite good to me. I think these two numbers should be a little bit more on the downside. So I open the tag in the block editor, switch to the move tool, and just put them a little bit more down. Close block editor, save the changes. As you can see, nothing changed. What we have to do is synchronize the attributes. So I enter add sync in the command line. I select the door tag, choose yes, and now this looks quite fine to me. I will add two other parameters to this door tag. So probably you want to change its size or the lines. So open it again in the block editor. I define another linear parameter here. I also change its base location from start point to midpoint. And I add two stretch actions to the parameter. So choose the stretch, select the parameter. For the first base point, choose the left grip, draw the stretch frame, and for the select objects, just select this rectangle. Add another stretch action. Choose again the parameter. This time choose the right grip. Draw your stretch frame. Select objects, select again the rectangle, and enter. Let's see if it works. Yes, and you can see you can now scale it according to the amount of numbers that contains your door number. Probably one other thing that you might want to do is to add another linear parameter to this door tag. Here we leave this parameter on its base location on start point, and we add again two stretch actions. Select the parameter. As the first start point, I select the upper grip. I draw my stretch frame, and for the objects I just select this polyline here. I add another stretch action, choose the same parameter, specify its base point, draw your stretch frame, and for the objects just select the rectangle and the polyline. Let's test it. You can see you can now easily adjust the length of the lines. Close the block editor and save the changes to the door tag. So I think that we are almost done. Probably one last thing you might want to do is to add some predefined sizes for your door. So I open again the door block in the block editor. For the wall width, I change the distance type to list, and I will add some predefined wall width that are most common for my work. So in my case this might be 0.125, 0.2, 0.3 or 0.35. I will delete this 0.12 and press OK. The same you can do with the opening width of the door. Common opening widths of the door for me could be 0.65, 0.75, probably 0.8, 0.9 and 1 meter. You close the block editor, save the changes. Now you see he's automatically snapping to this predefined sizes of the door. You see he's now we have the 65, we have 75, 90, 1 meter. And here also 0.2, 0.3. I press the region, RE in the command line. You can see it's displaying the new opening width of the door. I think we're done for now. I hope it works for you also, and I hope it will help you during your daily work. Bye bye.